Hey, 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 let the traveling begin. That's what I'm titling this one today. Traveling starts today, leaving at about 9:30 this morning, so getting ready to, most of my stuff's packed. Gotta pack up, of course, my lights on my computer. Kind of don't want to bring my light because it's flickering. It's got a bad connection. For some reason, all of my things have bad connections lately. My cell phone connection, I had to get a new cord for that, still doesn't charge and doesn't work properly. This light that I use to make my videos every day, for some reason the connection on that is wobbly and loose. So maybe this is an indicator to me that I need to pay attention to my connections, some of the connections I'm making or not making, because they're not connecting, they're not linking up. Just thought of that this morning as I'm thinking about why do I have more than one thing in my life that's not making a connection. So maybe that's something I need to focus on. Wow, crazy, the things that we think about. Traveling, I'm excited. I'm excited to start traveling. I've been home too much this last year, and I love traveling because it expands our horizons. It allows us to see things differently. It allows us to see ourselves differently. It allows us to get out of our normal routine. For some of us, we like our normal routine, and it's important to shake it up and mix things up a little bit so that we can see things differently, so that we can get a different perspective, so we can figure out if we're not making connections, so we can figure out if we are making connections. There's so many lessons to be learned from traveling, just from seeing the world differently, seeing different perspectives, seeing the way different people live is so valuable, and understanding that most people live differently than we do, and that's perfectly okay. So just did the BP challenge day 24. Day 24, yes. Yep, day 24. And it's all about feelings, right? Everything we do, absolutely everything we do, everything we think, the way we act, is all based on achieving certain feelings that we want to feel. And so you might say, well, why would I ever choose to feel bad? Why would I ever want to feel negative or feel bad or feel hurt or feel pain or feel disappointment or any negative feeling? Well, I don't know why we would want to, but we do. We all experience the whole spectrum of feelings and emotions, and those feelings and emotions drive us away from what we don't want to do and how we don't want to feel, and drive us toward what we do want to feel. Most of us want to be driven toward the positive feelings on the spectrum and away from the negative feelings on the spectrum. Most of us don't want to feel fear. I consider fear a negative feeling on the emotional scale, so to speak. And I consider love a positive fear on the emotional scale. And so I do things, and I would imagine most people do, to move toward love and away from fear. Yet, toward love and away from fear. So I will do things that I'm not afraid of over and over and over again, even if they're not in my best interest, because I will also do things to keep me safe or feeling safe, again, even if they're not in my own best interest, because my subconscious is always playing well, you've done this before and you didn't die, so we'll do it again. Tape over and over again inside of me, and probably inside of you as well. Our subconscious will keep us doing things even if they're not the best for us, because it's kept us safe. So for example, someone that drinks or smokes or eats too much caramel, or eats things that aren't necessarily good for us, which is almost everyone, right? We almost all consume or do something that isn't good for us, even though we consciously know it's not good for us, because the other feelings that it gives us overpower, I guess, the negative things and the negative impact we feel like it might be having on us. So if I smoke, I go out and smoke, and I smoke because the feelings of stress reduction or relief or euphoria or whatever, I'm not a smoker obviously, so I don't know, whatever I gain from smoking still outweighs the health challenges and the other consequences in my mind, in my subconscious, in my being, of the negative things about smoking. So I will continue to do that even if it's not really good for me. I continue to work myself to the point of death, because I thought that the positives of doing that outweighed the negatives of doing that. Until, of course, I got that cold hard stop that said, yeah, that's not going to work for you anymore. You need to change. So our feelings and our emotions and the feelings that we want drive everything. So that was the topic of today's 90-day push, 90-day challenge. Going to be interesting on vacation how I pulled that off. I will pull it off. I will make sure that it happens. But I just know that things are going to be up and down for the next, month as I'm traveling and going about and in different places, different times. So just be forewarned that I won't be consistently showing up in the morning every day. And that's kind of been happening for the last week or so anyway, as different challenges and different things have been coming up. And as much as I'd like to be frustrated over those things, they're actually showing me that it's perfectly okay to get things done when they get done and not to freak out or not be upset that they don't get done when I think they should get done. I think one of the worst words in the language, there's a couple of them that I don't like. And there's controversy over this, so I'm going to share them, but don't get upset. I don't like the word try. I don't like the word hope. I don't like the word should, because should automatically has in it the element of judgment, of I should do this. So it might not be somebody else telling you what you should do. A lot of times it's us telling us what we should do, and we're not even using the word should. We're just, well, we usually are. I subconsciously use the word should all the time. I should do this, I should do that. And really, I should listen to myself and stop saying should and shoulding all over myself, and I should just do what feels right. If we all just did what feels good and right to us, literally, really, in our gut, in our, not just our mind, but our head and our heart and our gut, if we aligned all those three and we did what is in alignment and feels right for us as individual human beings along that scale, the world would be such a better place, such a fun place to live. But instead, most of us are working on our thoughts and our beliefs that came from other people anyway, and we're making decisions and choices and taking action based on what we think we should do, what we think is the right thing to do. And it's not the right thing for us, it's the right thing based on all of these other people that we've interacted with over our lifetime. It might be, somebody that said something, it might be a stranger that said something to you when you were 3, and that's stuck, and you've got a belief, and you're acting still out of that experience. That's how we operate. Scary but true. Unless we consciously choose to operate differently. So, how do you choose to operate? Do you operate out of shoulds, or do you operate out of the alignment of your head and your heart and your intuition, your gut? I try, but I admit it, I'm definitely not awesome at it, and I'm not perfect at it. And I will continue to move forward. That's part of who I'm becoming and what I'm doing, is to be a better human being. And that means aligning my head and my heart and my intuition and my gut, so that I do pay attention to what is the right thing for me. It might not be the right thing for anybody else on the planet. Probably not the right thing for anybody else on the planet to show up on live video in their pajamas. But it is right for me. It feels right in my head, even though it goes against all my shoulds, right? All of my personal shoulds and other people's shoulds as well. And it feels right in my heart because it's who I am and who I want to be. I want to be able to be who I am to other people, and that's okay. And if it's not okay, then they're not the right people for me anyway. They're not the right connections for me to be making. And it feels good in my intuition. It feels good in my gut to be aligned with who I am and how I show up. And I want to show up in the real, honest, casual, comfortable way with other people, if that makes sense. So, getting ready to travel. I'm going to wrap this up and go process these videos. YouTube's been a bugaboo this week, and I don't know if, I think it's just YouTube's going through changes as they're implementing the new uploader, and so I take these things personally when I struggle with technology, which is ridiculous, right? It's one of those feelings and beliefs that I just need to let go of, because it's something that's outside of my control. When we let go of things that are outside of our control, life is so much easier. The only thing we ever have control over is how we react, how we respond to things that happen around us. Outside of us, stuff's just going to keep happening. We're like little planets orbiting around the sun, and stuff in space is just going to keep hitting us, and we decide whether it's going to hurt us or not. We decide whether it's going to impact us in a long-term or a short-term way, or we're just going to let it bounce off, and we're going to go to the next thing, and we're going to keep moving along our course of becoming who it is that we're here to be. So, I am wishing you an amazing day. I'm going to be riding in a car for several hours with some amazing people, so it'll be fun. Go out, have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, hit me up in the comments below. While I'm traveling, don't get miffed if it takes me a day or so to respond. And there will be 7 days when I'm on a cruise, 8 days, where chances are, if you hit me up in any social media or on my phone or anything else, I may not respond for a whole week. The world will not end. You will get your answer. Just go ahead and ask. And just know that November, I will be on a cruise, so you might get a slower response than normally. Normally I get back with you right away, but if I don't see it, literally if I don't see it, and on the boat, I don't think I'll see it, so don't get miffed. But be forewarned, ask now while I'm mobily traveling versus when I'm on the cruise beginning of November. That's a long time out, so you need your question answered now. Ask now. Have an amazing day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye. In another location.